Hey, hey, hey. It's been a little bit since I've done one of these, but I am here, and let's go ahead and get started. That's right. Just watching this can cost you points on your social credit score. Although America does not have that yet, we have come rather close at times. It looks as though I may have a bad connection. Oh, starting to get better. I don't know. We'll see. As you can see, my Verizon internet is not very good. So I am leeching off of across the yard, and we'll see if that's any better. Anyways, as always, if you are watching this on Facebook, I can't see your comments. If you are watching this on Twitter, I can see your comments. If you're watching this on YouTube, congratulations. That's where most of the comments come from. Unfortunately, most of my views come from Facebook, so there's that. Anyways, this is numero 32. That is 3 and 2, not 32. 32 would be, so let's see. Oh wait, that's German. Sorry. .32. Is 32 the number O.J. Simpson wore on his jersey? Maybe. Anyways, to get on with it. Let's start with Twitter. Twitter. Elon Musk took over, and what he says is a good sign. He has pissed off both Republicans and Democrats. Now, I personally consider it a good sign that I regularly offend both sides. Now, granted, being a centrist isn't something to be proud of. Being reasonable is something to be proud of. And I'm a reasonable person. I've got my absolutes. By the way, I have a channel on Rumble by the name of The Drunk Libertarian. Election night, I will be doing my first live stream from there to go over all the election stuff. Can't do it on the Tube of You or the Book of Faces. They will crack down on that sort of thing. I got a feeling Twitter might not remove it for giving simple, honest assessments. But you never know. So, Elon Musk, who is, I would say he's the most successful African American in the country. I would think so. Who would be second? Charlize Theron? Although she's kind of faded away. Lupita Nyong. She was in Star Wars. A beautiful, talented actress. I get her name wrong. Although, Ilhan Omar is a congresswoman. Pretty successful for an African American. Sorry, that's just in the first 30 seconds being all meh. No, I had a very good friend. She was African. She was also white. And she was very passionate about the term African American applying to people who were African. I mean, she spoke Afrikaans. She was a little girl during apartheid. She had some wounds from, where the fucking evil bastards kicked in doors, and she was injured while they were, as a result of being friends with people they didn't approve of. Awful, awful mess. And while I understand the sentiment of a nationality with American being put, that's fine, but it does cause some confusion. Louis C.K., Mexican American, with some Hungarian blood as well, but he was born and raised in Mexico. Like, when he came to the United States, he did not speak English. So there's that. Now, would he count as Mexican American, or would he just count as white? That's a troublesome idea. Another one that I find a little troublesome, whenever we're labeling people, we're opening ourselves up to these minute little issues. And me, just being a thinker as I am, and a rambler, as you can tell by the, right there. A little bit of a rambler. Jewish American. Now, I want to start out with, I love and respect Judaism. The religion is beautiful, fantastic. Jewish culture is beautiful and full of inspiration and history. Anyone who is a Christian should look back at the roots of Christianity that is based in Judaism. It's beautiful. Christians and the Jewish people should be siblings, cousins at the most distant. Family, give some love. Enough with this hate bullshit. Now, when is someone a Jewish American? So let's say Ben Stein, practicing his religion, raised with religion, very much, everyone can agree, Jewish American. What about someone who is an atheist? Would you consider them a Jewish American? That's difficult. What if we said Hebrew American? They were raised, I know Hebrew's a language, but I don't know. Is that fair? Is that offensive? I don't understand why it would be offensive, but it is an interesting question. I know I went from Twitter to identification of races and culture. I know the Asian community. Okay, which ones are Asian? Would you consider someone from Mongolia Asian? Sure. What about someone from Moscow? Well, I mean, are they European? Are they Asian? Well, they're white, so European. Oh, okay. So a black person's not European? While being sensitive, we can sometimes be too overboard with these things. I know when I was in Germany, my older brother's best friend was an Eskimo. And generally, whenever I talk about Tony the Eskimo, people get offended and they're like, they're not Eskimo, they're Inuit. Wait. No. I don't know what Tony was, other than Eskimo. I dated a girl in college. She was an Eskimo, but she was not Inuit, right? Because Eskimo refers to multiple tribes. I know I gotta look this up. Oh yeah, Yupik. That's right. She was Yupik. Or, yeah. I want to say Yupik, Yuit, or one of the other ones. So while trying to be sensitive and going, oh, they're not Eskimos, they're Inuit, you are taking a number of Eskimos and mislabeling them as the wrong tribe. Inuit and Yupik aren't the same. And there's others. I'm not going to even try to guess. It'd be like referencing Indigenous Americans or Native Americans or First Nation. I like First Nation. I think that's the coolest term for natives of this continent. Love that. First Nation sounds noble. I'm sorry. That'd be like saying, they're not Indians, they're Navajo. No, actually, my grandmother's Choctaw. She's not Navajo. So, yeah. No. You're wrong, but thanks for trying to help there, buddy. Really, it's just... And to jump on another topic that'll get me friggin' demonetized. Genders. Right? There is, technically, I'm correct. Your DNA is, gotcha. And then there's, well, the preferred is this, you're a bigot. I really think this is a reference to a small group of people. I've been an active ally of the LGBT community for a couple decades now, at least. Say easily 20, 25 years. And I wasn't really introduced to the trans community really until college, later in college. So I'd say 15 years. And words change. And in the event that you are unsure, you can always ask. There's nothing wrong with asking. Will that offend some people? Yes. Will making an assumption offend some people? Yes. I was out, I guess you could say a date, but it wasn't a romantic date. I took a friend of mine out to dinner. You know, we wanted to meet up, but my friend was doing a drag show and was like, look, hi, da-da-da. It's like, look, I'm in town for this time. Look, let's just, when you get done, let's go meet up and have some food. Hang out. It's like, what? I'll be in drag. Yeah. I assumed you would be in drag for your drag show. I mean, is it okay? Well, it's fine with me, but it's fine with you. Oh, okay. Gotcha. And I will admit, and I'm not going to name drop here, all right? So don't worry. Although I doubt you're watching this because you never watch my videos. I will admit, I would say, ma'am, and held the door open for my friend. I don't know. The way I was raised, it was put in my head, treat ladies with, some chivalry. In no way is it meant to be, disrespectful or, demeaning. It's, how I try to show respect. Is that a glare coming off my head? It is. Man. Alright. That's gonna distract the shit out of me. I don't know. You know what? I'll just glare away. And a couple real fucking pricks come up and they're like, that's a dude, right? Now, obviously, me being completely oblivious, this is why my friend was like, are you sure it's okay? I should have, been more considerate and be like, if you're comfortable with it, I'm comfortable with it. If you think it's going to be a problem, we can just, grab some takeout and, hang out at your place. Instead, I was like, no, fuck that. Shouldn't be a problem. My narcissistic brain was like, oh, you think I'm going to be offended or scared to be seen? No. My friend's not stupid. My friend knows I don't give a shit. Now, my instincts were to be like, alright, you want to fuck with my buddy? We'll have some issues. But it's like, no, that's the exact scene and issue that, no. Nope, I'll play it cool. It's like, oh, are you sure? How about you go check for me? Ooh. Insults and insults like, oh. Well, thanks for the warning. Have a nice day. Jesus loves you. In the event that, and I have misgendered someone, I did so, I don't know, within the last 6 months. It was like, sir, it's ma'am. My apologies. Force of habit. My apologies. Ma'am, this is da-da-da-da, and just treat it like you got their name wrong. If they're so deeply offended by it that it has hurt them emotionally, then there is nothing you can do other than, carry on business and rock on. It's sad. If you're like me, you don't want to intentionally offend individuals, When I meet someone, whether you're a lady that has a beard, or a gentleman who has some breasts, and it's questionable. Yeah, some people freeze up and like, I don't know how to interact with this person without being offensive because they're so scared of offending. Just go with neutral terms. Be polite, be respectful. And if you get something wrong, just straight up, I'm sorry. That was not my intention. So, if I do offend you for some reason, if the earlier discussion of African American white people, or Asian American white people, or Mexican American Louis C.K. If you think that's offensive, one, I am sorry that you think I'm trying to hurt you. I'm not. I'm simply asking unique, curious questions. Number two, if something like that hurts you and offends you, I believe you have another issue. And I don't think what I said offended you. I think it triggered a deeper offense that was already there. And I mean this in a non-sarcastic, non-joking way. I hope that you're able to reach out and get some help and heal and feel better. And that is my 20-minute ramble that began with Twitter. Elon Musk seems to be offending lefties and righties. That's a good sign that he's not taking sides. He's doing what he thinks is right. But we'll see. I wish him the best of luck. Seems like a decent enough guy with some issues. I do love whiskey. Now, I have a wonderful friend, immensely talented, intelligent, well-spoken, articulate. You know those people that are just better than you at everything? You know what? This might solve that. Oh, yes, I'm wearing scrubs. Boom. There we go. Less distracting. Yes, I'm wearing scrubs. I came home from work where I wear scrubs at my job. I have multiple jobs. One job is I go into patients' homes and I go over their medication. I change bandages. I do some light housekeeping. Not really required to, but how do you not? You know, take people shopping, take them to their appointments, you know, try to translate what the doctors say. By the way, if you're a doctor and you're speaking to an 84-year-old female on an issue, do you think it would be better to say, well, ma'am, I believe you have irritation on your area, and it could be caused by multiple different things. We're going to work with this possible cause first. Or do you think you should say, well, ma'am, I believe you have vaginitis as a result of a I don't want to go in. Medical terms are great when you're speaking to doctors. It's very precise, very specific, and it gives the exact details that are needed. When you're speaking to a patient, it is not good. It sounds scary. My son, he's suffering from epistasis, and I'm gonna have to go deal with that right now. Please hold the phone. Versus, shit, my son's got a nosebleed. Give me a sec. It's scary. I gotta fly. Okay, he's alive. Medical terms are scary. Doctors are scary. people freak out. So yeah, one of my favorite parts of the job is I get to be the go-between. Also, yes, you're the manager of an apartment. Yes, your apartment is to people on Medicare and Social Security. So there's a lot of elderly people. And that does have some unique issues. You know, mobility, people do have some issues cleaning the baseboards when they're in a wheelchair. Yeah. And I know that it's frustrating. And I know that someone having a bag of piss that they have to empty out is foreign to you. And the smell of urine is not a pleasant smell. I thought I was going to lose my job because this person berated one of my people over the smell of urine. Now, you berate my patient, you and me are going to have a discussion where I will harshly explain to you why you're being inappropriate. If you do this in front of his neighbors and everyone and humiliate him in a public setting, I have no choice but to humiliate you in kind in front of those same people. You don't cut my people down and then look like the better person. No. Which is why if you're a boss, a supervisor, or if you have some authority over others, I'm not saying, oh, handle them with kitty gloves. No, by all means, rip them a second or a third asshole if need be. But don't do it in front of everyone. Pull them aside. If you need someone else there for safety reasons, in the military, I would never fucking break a female alone. I would either have another female soldier or another male soldier, so that there's a third person, preferably someone who's neutral. And then I would commence to destroy this female soldier. But never in front of everyone. That's humiliating. And while humiliation is great, public humiliation puts them on the instant defensive, and they either do what they're supposed to do, what you're trying to teach them to do, and makes them look weak, pussy, broken, or they now have to try to get some respect from their peers, and they fuck up, which makes you look bad unless you double down. It's a nasty game. Don't publicly call people out. Do it in private. Pull them aside. Now, little things like, hey, dumbass. Do you think that's the best thing to do? Come on. Come on, idiot. Do that. It's different than you specifically, on this specific issue, let me break you down in front of people. Don't do it. But yes. Also, let's say I have a stroke. I pray I never do. Let's say I have a stroke, and it causes my speech to be slower, and it's like I have Bell's palsy, and John Fetterman, great example. There's no way around it. You sound mentally challenged. You sound like you're someone with mental capacity of a child. I know this. you know this. And you're speaking to me, and I respond with, okay, ma'am. I think I've got that right. I think it's this. Well, I would like to try this. If that's wrong, let me know. Thank you for telling me. I am sorry if I get it wrong. What you don't do is, okay, sweetheart, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and put this on this side. That way, when I push you in the wheelchair, your little feetsies don't hit. They can't speak. Their brain might be working perfectly fine. Either way, it's patronizing, it's embarrassing, and it's disrespectful. Give people their dignity and respect, you assholes. Now also, these are, good fucking people who are working a job where they are, let's be honest, underpaid, overworked, and regularly. You keep gloves nearby all times because you never know what bodily fluids you're going to be wearing. You never know what horrific thing you're going to have to do to help someone. And you do it because you love the job. Like, if you're qualified LPN or RN, you can get a better paying job. You can get other work. Trust me. You do it because you're called to it, because you love it, because something is fucked up in your head and you want to help people. So yeah, going, okay, buddy, you're not trying to be a dick. And we get used to the routine, but don't do that. It takes away some dignity. If you catch yourself doing it, and you know what, I'm sure I have done it, I try very hard not to do it, and if I catch myself doing it, I stop. But yeah, a little bit of advice for those dealing with the elderly. Hope that's decent advice, but I don't know, it could come off like a pretentious asshole. That's only because I'm a pretentious asshole. Now, Joseph Koger, thank you oh so much. And Susan Palladino, awesome, appreciate it. Like I said, I don't see the Facebook stuff. But yeah, rambled again. I would like to bring up my dear friend, David McLean. We did a stream together, I don't know, 25, 30, 110 years ago. I don't know. More like 2.5 years ago, I think. Now, this guy is in the Lexington, Kentucky area, and you will not find a more talented musician or a more motivated teacher. If you can, I challenge you to prove it. But he also has online schooling. Skinny Devil Music Lab. I would like to share a little video of his. And again, as much as I love this guy, I respect the hell out of him. Am I frozen? Am I frozen? All right. Now this is my boy Dave doing Iggy Pop, but he can play anything, and great teacher. Sorry, Dave, I'm jumping ahead.
I'm a passenger. I ride and I ride.
Not saying he's a great singer. I mean, better than me. Hands down.
Passenger. The bright and hollow sky looks so good tonight. I'm a passenger.
So this is my boy Dave, Skinny Devil Music Lab. And let me make sure this is showing. Whoop. Do. Wasn't me. Not my fault. Anyways, my boy, if you are interested, if you have any desire, I would ask you to check this out first. Skinny Devil Music Lab, Academy of Guitar. Now, he has videos on his YouTube channel that really show the progress of some of his students. Now, I haven't asked Dave, so he may be like, dude, don't cut a commercial for me. By the way, he's not a sponsor. I was just jamming out to one of his songs earlier and thought, hey, when I do my next time, yeah. But I'm not going to throw his students under the bus by sharing them to my massive audience. Anyways, Skinny Devil Music Lab. Check it out. Hit him up. Fantastic. Now, you may notice the title of this. And in the includes Lawn Chair Larry. Now, I'm a big fan of the name Larry. What the fuck was that? Sorry. I'm a big fan of the name Larry. I got some family named Larry. I got a good buddy named Larry. But all of those Larrys, no matter how much I love them or respect them or care about them, none of them are Lawn Chair Larry. Who is Lawn Chair Larry? Well, let me tell you. The sad, strange, but still badass tale of Lawn Chair Larry. Now, Larry Walters, 10 times more badass than Barbara Walters, and 100 times more badass than Gomer Pyle, whose name was Larry, from Full Metal Jacket, by the way. Now, Larry's boyhood dream, it was to fly. I would go to medium.com. It's shit. Dave Brumfield. Yeah. Dave Brumfield that I read and really looked into for the Larry story. So originally I was put onto it by a guy named Philip Dell. He's a curator of a internet library that has weird, freaky shit. A lot of stuff I can't talk about on YouTube. But anyways, lawn chair Larry Walters. Here's this quote. So many people have dreams and they never follow through on them. So on the 2nd of July, 1982, Delta and TWA airline pilots were stunned as they started into LAX. Shitty airport, by the way. UFO reports. That's right. UFO reports. Not space aliens. Nope. Even more fucked up. Like, hey, we got reports of a flying saucer. Okay. Probably another government aircraft. We got reports of a cigar-shaped object, aliens. Nope. Not even that. When he went up into the clouds and heard engines of planes and he couldn't see them and they couldn't see him, he went, oh my goodness. This person's fiance told a UPI reporter. What did these planes see? 16,000 feet. A man sitting in an aluminum lawn chair, for those across the pond, aluminium lawn chair, with a pistol in his hand and a fuck ton of balloons. That's right. Lawn chair Larry Walters. 16,000 feet up in the air, humping along, floating on balloons with a pistol. Obviously, the pistol's in case he sees, Martians, so he can defend himself. No. It's like the story of Icarus. Flew too high to the sun, the wax melted, fell back to the earth. Except lawn chair Larry didn't have wax fucking wings. He had an aluminum lawn chair and some fucking helium. 33-year-old Larry was average, everyday, blue-collar, hard-working American badass. He was a truck driver for a TV commercial company, right? Fucking truck driver for a company that made TV commercials, delivering. He would drive the fucking equipment and lighting rigs and all that stuff, right? But in his spare time, he was railing out Carol Van Dusen, his seriously pretty smoking hot fiance. Shoot, I should have had a picture ready. Now, Larry, being a badass that he is, not the most handsome dude, but kind of a badass. His fiance, she was pretty cute. Look her up. By the way, when you look her up, and you get the pictures of her now, she's aged a bit. Now, she's aged gracefully and all, but I'm referencing her at the time. Smoke. Sitting in his chair that he got from Sears Roebuck. They really specify, they always specify that it was Sears Roebuck. I'm thinking Sears Roebuck should have used that for some marketing, because it was exceptionally comfortable, according to him, for watching. Man, I don't know when that crashed. I'm going to go do a little something, check into that. But I was just talking about Larry Walters, badass. I do apologize. While I look into that, we are going to be forcibly subjected to we're going to do this one on a loop while I get this fixed. I apologize for that. Damn it. Let me see. My mother made sloppy joes. That's awesome. Anyways, I think this will fix it. If shit changes, then I will try to repair that. Anyways, I don't know what parts were cut off on that. I think they should have. I'll just try to go back to this. Normal dude, smoking hot fiance for him. Loved his Sears Roebuck lawn chair that they specify in every fucking news article. I really think they should have used that. I read a quote from Jim Kessler, and I was talking about him being 13 in the early 60s when the space race started to really pick up, and the rocket launch, he was late teenage years. So, yeah, space is what really controlled his formative years. Now, in 1967, Larry, lawn chair Larry, the bad motherfucker Walters, joined the Air Force. Loved the chair force. Someone will have to ask me, and I'll explain why later. But gotta focus. He joined the chair force so that he could fly a plane. Unfortunately, bad eyesight. Couldn't do it. But, okay, that's fine. Asshole can't fly for the government. Would that stop you? Probably. Would that stop me? Probably. You know who that won't stop? Yeah, that would stop your cousin Joey. I'm sorry. You're right. It would not stop lawn chair Larry, or else we wouldn't be talking about him. Obviously. Right? Now, the surly bongs of earth shall not contain lawn chair Larry, because in March of 1982, he began buying the equipment and supplies he would need to accomplish his goal. 42 weather balloons. Not just party balloons, weather balloons. Helium tanks. A parachute, because he's not stupid. A BB gun. That pistol, yeah, it was a BB gun. Water jugs. An altimeter. A CB radio. A CB radio. He spent between $2,500 and $5,000 in 1982 money. Today, with inflation, today that'd be like 75 cents. But a year ago, that would have been fucking expensive. Right? It would have cost probably 13, 14,000 last year. This year, I don't know, 9.7 million. Then again, gas is like what, $17 a gallon now. So obviously, a BB gun isn't the pistol we were talking about earlier. So why would he have a BB gun? You can't shoot Martians with BB gun. Many of you already figured out. Balloons flying his ass up in the air. By the way, let's all take a moment to look at 69 XXX.site. Totally a reasonable, real person, not a spam bot at all. Thanks for interrupting me, although I interrupt myself quite often. Now, it is to shoot out the tanks. As you shoot the balloons, you start to float down. So Larry spent days and days and days, and in those days, many hours and minutes, preparing his Sears and Roebuck aluminum lawn chair for the journey. He had journals where he kept notes. He looking at the notes now, he did not research enough on how much helium would be required to lift him over the housetops. His planning would drift lazily. He would get distracted, delusions of grandeur, right? But he started out in the Mojave Desert. Been there, by the way. It's nice. They got some tortoises, and it started to get confident, right? Now, the movie E.T., before Steven Spielberg's like, oh, delete all the guns and walkie-talkies, George Lucas. While we were watching E.T., he was busting his ass to actually become non-terrestrial. Now, on July 1st, Lawn Chair Larry went to Carol's home and inflated all 42 balloons with helium, arranging them with nylon cables in 6 tiers. And they went 180 feet high total. But, this is in I want to say the garage. I'm pretty sure it was a garage, but he had a net so that, anyways. On the 2nd, Space Shuttle Columbia completed their flight. That's when he got a parachute and strapped himself into the Sears Roebuck aluminum lawn chair that was officially called Inspiration 1, because he's a badass, and fastened to his Jeep with a wire. Did all the radio checks on his CB radio, checked his altimeter, his camera, 2 liters of Coke. Not my choice, but I will not question Lawn Chair Larry, the badass. Sorry, the bad astronaut. Badass tronaut. That's a better way. And the wire broke. Larry did not float over the rooftops. He lurched off the ground like fired from a slingshot, and without the wire to stop him, because again, Lawn Chair Larry, the badass tronaut, was just doing a test. But you know what? Fuck it. We'll do it live. So his glasses fall off. He floats 3 fucking miles into the air. But he reaches down, grabs his manhood, and fuck it. Radio's Carol. Smoking hot fiance Carol. You're going to be directly over us in about a minute or two. So look down and see if you can see us. Over. Okay, I'll be looking for you. We can already see your balloons. Carol, he didn't say over. You're not allowed to speak. Larry, you should have said over. Maybe when you get over, you can go into... You're going into some blue stuff. Can you see us? Over. I'm... Carol, I'm 6,000 feet over. 6,000 feet over. I can't see much of anything. Except for some houses. Over. You're not allowed to say over. I'm almost 16,000. I'm almost 6,000 feet above. Don't say over. So Carol's like, hey, come home, come home. And he's like, fuck, I'm so high. Nah, if I shoot one, I don't know. I'm freaking out. And shit started to get cold. And then shit started getting worse. His hands and feet, can't feel them. It's 5 fucking degrees Celsius. That's like for the Brits that use 5 degrees Fahrenheit. For the Brits that use Celsius, that's like negative a bunch. So he's not going east. East is the Mojave Desert. West is the ocean. Shit. To go to the ocean and float down peacefully, I get eaten by sharks and no one ever finds me. I go to the desert and float down peacefully. They gotta look for me while I burn shit. So he does an MOS, or an SOS, a Mayday. This guy broke into our channel with a Mayday. Dixon, the Orange County Citizens Band Radio Club. He said he shot up in an elevator at 16,000 feet and he's numb. He's panicked. What information do you wish me to tell air traffic control at this time? As to your location and difficulty. The difficulty is this is an unauthorized launch, and I'm in federal airspace, and my ground crews hopefully alerted proper authority. Just let them know I'm okay. What color is the balloon? There's a bunch of them. They're beige. I'm in a bright blue sky, which would be highly visible. Over. Size? 7 feet diameter each? I don't know. I got like 35 left. You're saying you have a cluster of 35 balloons? No, I got a cluster of 35 weather balloons. Not a balloon. It is 35 weather balloons. It is unclear why Larry reported 35 balloons instead of 42. But the common assumption for people that aren't fucking stupid is that he shot out 7 balloons before he panicked and went, wait, I don't want to die. Come on, Larry. Now, his primary approach of LAX gave him the awful reality that ditching in the ice cold fucking water is gonna be bad. So, while I believe he shot 7 balloons, there is an argument on whether he shot out 7 balloons and then panicked and refused to shoot out anymore. Or, and those are the people that doubt Lawn Chair Larry the Badass. I am on the side of shit was 179 million degrees below 0 Celsius, 5 degrees Fahrenheit. Hands are numb. He dropped the fucking pistol. He dropped the BB gun and couldn't shoot anymore. Hands are numb. Shit, man. That's why he only shot 7. That's why he was panicked. Now, it was quoted, I can't say I was afraid, but the scary part was, rooftops and poles. And man, while you're doing that, you got to look at the power lines. I don't want to be sizzled. Sorry, I'm trying to check my fucking... make sure that my shit's working. Am I still alive? Yes, I am still alive. Boom. John Payne. Hey, I see some advertisements. Are you running for city council? I hope you get it. You're a good dude. So anyways. Larry allegedly used his gun to start popping more balloons. I don't think Larry... Anyways, Larry started popping balloons, whether it was his BB gun or he used his claws and teeth. He slowly lowered himself down to safety. Now, no one told Larry, but the electric company actually killed the electric lines near him. So even if he hit them, it wouldn't have fried him. But, this is Larry, Lawn Chair Larry. Electricity's not to be scared of. Gravity's not either. No, all joking aside, it was a crazy, serious thing. He flew 21 miles. And when he finally touched down, also, it wasn't his planned ascent into the heavens. But he flew 21 miles. He made it home safely. And when he landed, he was in so much shock, he couldn't get out of the chair. And some neighborhood children who had gathered around to, awe in the badassness of Lawn Chair Larry. They had to help him out. By the grace of God, I fulfilled my dream. But I wouldn't do it again for nothing. And that is the final quote of Lawn Chair Larry. Now, yeah. He had a crazy fucking thing kind of thrust on him. He was planning, he was flirting with a crazy idea. He did some test runs, floating here, floating there. But big thing. Fuck. And he tried. But not ready to commit yet. Oh, fuck. Now I gotta. Sorry, let me... Well, it worked out. He made it home safely. Dude was not trying. Or, I'm sorry, he was not ready for it. But shit happens. He handled it the best way he could. Now, his lawn chair is in the Smithsonian. Lawn chair Larry, you are an accidental badass. You are an accidental BAMFO. I'm sorry, BAMF. Sorry, I forgot the O. I had to drop that. Also, speaking of badass motherfuckers, although he's an accidental badass motherfucker, into just a moment of self-fucking promotion. I have 2 videos that I have done that
The tornado.
I think are very well done. But most importantly, I think they celebrate people that I actually put in time and effort to try to make a video to celebrate them. The quality of both videos, you know what? You can find better quality. The subjects, I don't know that you'll find any better. They're fantastic, great motherfuckers. And at least at the time, I didn't see much content about them. Like, ooh, I love Dave Mustaine. He's a fucking awesome badass. I love Megadeth. Let me do a video on Dave Mustaine. Well, yeah, there's a bunch of them. And people that will do much better job than I would ever do. But I was like, man, I want to do a video on them. Let me see if there's something out there. And it's like, oh, wait a minute. Nothing? Shit. No, I have to. I know this is a bit of a drunken rambling episode. So it'll probably be a touch longer than some of the others. But it'll be all right. The first one I did was Dr. Fujita, right? Now, I just got to say, Dr. Fujita is the reason why we have the F system for tornadoes, right? This guy, Japanese American, this guy responded to a massive tornado incident, collected data, massive amounts of data. He put in a lot of work and calculated data in some interesting, peculiar ways. And most of what we know about tornadoes is completely because of Dr. Fujita, who I called Dr. Tornado. And when you get to the last part of the video, I named a drink after him. I also mentioned his birthday as a holiday. So I think you should check that out. I do celebrate his birthday, and I do have to say his birthday has passed, so you missed it. But we are coming up on the day that he passed. Uh, Almost made it to 80 years old. Badass dude. And after teaching all of us about tornadoes, we had some plane crashes, and it's like, why is this happening? Why is this happening? No one can figure it out. It's a magical genie. It's a curse from Scientology. It's a fucking September Dawn. Dr. Fujita was like, well, here's some science that will explain this. And planes crashing on landing went down by a very substantial amount. And if you calculate that into all the planes landing all over and all the huge decrease in fatalities from tornadoes, before he passed away, this guy saved millions of lives. And his teachings save millions of lives every year. Someone with, the desire to do math, I would argue that, come in, I would argue that his teachings have saved the population of the world.
That's some sloppy joes.
I heard that. Hey, I am doing a live stream at the moment. I'm working on that. I'm doing a live stream at the moment. Now, let me ask you, when they measure tornadoes, how do they measure them? They use a letter and then a number, 1 through 5. F. F1, F2.
Yeah.
Do you know what the F stands for? Dr. Fujita. I have a great video on that. I'll play you a clip of that. And check it out. Outbreak, U.S. 150-ish twisters landed in Middle America in the 24-hour period. In the United States, tornadoes struck Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, Ohio, Kentucky, Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, North Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, and New York. All of these to differing degrees. Now, the damage was catastrophic. The lives lost were terrible. It was absolutely horrific. In today's money, over $5 billion worth of damage, 6,000 injuries, over 300 fatalities. This was a horrible, terrible tragedy. And Dr. Tornado chose to use this as an opportunity to gather information. See, much like in Lubbock, he used footage of the tornadoes as well as patterns of the damage to try to learn things that previously could only be guessed by the most knowledgeable people in the world. He wanted to pin it down to exactness. Now, one of these theories was the multiple vortex theory. So, people believed that tornadoes would skip because you got a piece of damage here, and then here, and then here, and then here. So the tornado is jumping. Dr. Fujita, he had a crazy theory that there were multiple little funnels surrounding the big one. And as they would run out of energy, they would come back and then get strong again. And instead of a tornado going up and down, it was these other tornadoes were coming out and in. Now, this also explained why it was so damn impossible to track these storms, even on perfectly flat ground. It was like the tornado was going up and down and side to side, and the tornado outbreak was when he was able to prove his theory correct. Now, one of these tornadoes lasted longer than the others. Dr. Fujita, he tried to explain this as a downburst. You see, as a tornado would cut through, it would create a gap of air, and that would cause air to rush down. Now, with temperature changes, which is a big cause of a tornado, hot air rises, cold air comes down, warm front, cold fronts come together. I'm not going to go into the exact science behind it, but he had a theory that the downflow of air was feeding the tornado and allowing it to last longer than it should have. And no one exactly believed him. They said it was a myth. They came up with some weird theories of gravity and electrical pulses to give it strength. There were some pretty insane theories out there. But a few years after the tornado outbreak, he was called in to help investigate a plane crash. And he was able to prove that a downburst pushed the plane out of the sky onto the ground. And as a result, that theory has changed the way we train pilots. It has also helped us predict how long a tornado can last. Like I said previously, Dr. Fujita is a BAMF. Stands for badass motherfucker. So after the April events of nature giving a stiff uppercut to humanity, Dr. Fujita canceled his classes. He gathered colleagues and students, and he bought plane tickets. Now, he wanted to focus on two specific places, Monticello, Indiana, and Louisville, Kentucky. And if you're from either of those places, you can mention in the comments how I pronounce them differently. Now, he formed the two teams, and he had to rush in order to beat the cleanup crews because he wanted to collect data. He gave a specific pointer to his collection teams that I thought was brilliant. He gave them lots of pointers, but one thing he said specifically was, gather all the stopped clocks and write the address on them and take them with you. This gave him an exact moment when that house was hit, when that clock was broken. Now, I thought that was pretty interesting. So now he can pinpoint exact moments the house was hit and compare it to the radar. And that and the news footage and the pictures of the damage that his collection teams took, he was able to paint a picture. And another huge thing from that event, hook clouds. Now, everyone had theories about hook clouds are connected to tornadoes. Not all hook clouds turn into tornadoes, but all tornadoes come from hook clouds. Now, a hook cloud isn't something you see in the sky. When looking at the radar, it makes like a J or a fish hook. And he was able to use the data he collected to determine which ones would become tornadoes. And it was something about measuring how long the hook, how this shape of the hook, how long it took to become that shape from a standard shape, and how long it stayed in that shape before it became the circle, because some of the circles would... Okay. Basically, he used the data to solve the puzzle. Now, I am old. I'm 40, and in some circles that's old. But I look 60. Now, handsome, with a smooth voice and pretty eyes, but still old. Now, a little before my time, people were told, when a tornado comes, open the windows. See, this will level out the pressure and it will prevent the house or the building that you're in from exploding. This isn't because they were stupid. It's because things we accept as fact now went against the scientific understanding that we had at the time. Now, Dr. Fujita and his team, they collected massive amounts of information and they analyzed it and they presented it to the scientific community. He wasn't a super genius sitting in the back room of a cathedral making theories. Now, as intelligent as this man was, I do think we should appreciate his work ethic and his dedication as much as we do everything else. I mean, the smartest man in the world can't do much if he's lazy. So Dr. Fujita is clearly a BAMF, but he's not widely discussed. Now, is it because of racism against Asian Americans? Is it because they would rather emphasize advancements in radar technology in order to raise funding? Is it because he worked for the University of Chicago and history books are Penn State fans? I don't know. Maybe it's because his name's hard to pronounce. Honestly, I don't know. I can't tell you why he wasn't praised before. I'm praising him now. And hopefully, after watching this video, you'll praise him too. In fact, I propose November 19th, the day that he passed. It's close to Thanksgiving, being Dr. Tornado Day. And every year, I'm going to celebrate it with a drink that I am naming after him. The Dr. Tornado is going to be 1 part sake, Japanese American, 1 part blended whiskey for Middle America, 2 parts lemon lime soda. No big reason. I think that'll mix well. And in honor of Chicago, garnish it with a lemon slice, just like you would a Chi-Town brandy. Or we could use the day to teach our children and young ones tornado safety. Whichever you think's more appropriate. Sorry, unmute. You miss his birthday, but his death is still coming up. So, celebrate by mixing Dr. Tornado. Guy's awesome. And I know, still doing self promotion, but this person, and this is politically correct, but also awesome. The very first black female pilot in the history of the United States Army was a wonderful commander, an intelligent, well-spoken, compassionate woman who was my father's commander. That's right. I didn't know about Marcella Ing from some YouTube video or some anything. My father actually said, hey, you talk about stuff on the internet. I got a commander who's pretty cool. She was like the first something. Here's her name, here's her info. Look her up. Make a video. And I did. Absolutely impressive. Marcella Ing. I'm going to play some of this video. Because, yeah, self-promotion. And then I'm going to come back and close everything out. But I want you to rock out to Marcella Ing, the humble hero. Now, she recalls that on what was to have been her instrument's check ride, her advanced instrument flight examination, like her final exam, right? She was so excited and happy because she got the instructor that everyone called Santa Claus because of his generosity. Well, that flight was called off due to weather, and it was rescheduled to the following Monday with a different examiner, one who takes pleasure in failing everybody. So, yeah, much tougher examiner. However, when she did take her exam, she had the best takeoff she'd ever had under instruments. The flight went perfectly. They even changed flight plans throughout the check ride, and she just nailed it. In fact, so impressed was the instructor that when the flight was over, he took time with her to go over other skills and give her an impromptu class in the cockpit. She credits the weather and the extra challenge. Of course, she gives all that credit to God. While flight school was very fun and exciting and challenging, her time there played a much larger role in her personal life. You see, in the summer of 1979, Marcella Hayes met Dennis Ing, and they were married in January of 1980. Now, the following summer, Marcella was assigned to Germany with the 394th Transportation Battalion. She was its first Black American and the first woman. Now, Ing says that her family is crucial and key to her success, including Dennis, who they have 3 children together and 11 grandchildren. But being the first woman and the first Black officer at our first unit in Germany was not something that they celebrated. No. In fact, Other officers declined to assess her piloting abilities properly. So maintaining flight status proved nearly impossible, and uncertainty was clouding her career. Officials organized 2 flight boards to determine if she could keep flying. Now, the first one, she passed easily. It was thrown out due to undue influence. Okay, so a second board was held, where the members determined she should no longer fly. And to make sure her career was truly over, they reassigned her to the loveliest of lovely jobs. She became the unit's dining facility officer. Despite this setback, Ng continued to climb the ranks as a transportation officer. Later in her career, while Ng was assigned to the 7th Infantry Division, a unit I once belonged to, a senior officer recognized her and pulled her aside to let her know that, yes, discrimination had, in fact, been the reason she was stripped of her flight status. She was told it was a club called No Blacks, No Bra, referring to the apparent prejudice against both her race and her gender. But she is very quick to point out she is not a victim. No one has the power to make Marcella Hayes Ng a victim. God opened doors so I could command a battalion. This is how Marcella Hayes Ng reacted to losing her flight status. Unfairly, I might add. Now, she did take stock of the situation and reprioritized. Obviously, family is first. Always was, always will be. But she did focus on other opportunities that the Army offered. So at a new duty station in Fort Hood, Texas, she was evaluated by combat arms officers, and she was selected for company command within the first 2 years. She followed this up with other command positions in Korea, where she became connected with my family, and at the 49th Transportation Battalion at Fort Hood, Texas, where she was a battalion commander, not a company commander, battalion commander. Badass. Now, despite unfair treatment at the beginning of her career, Ng remains proud of her service. She retired in the year 2000 at the rank of Lieutenant Colonel. Whew. Very impressive. And she had been a battalion commander. Now, today, Ng remains a pioneer, helping to pave way for a new era in military aviation. She stresses to others the importance of not letting the negative occurrences influence your outlook. That's the challenge. To keep telling young people, and especially young ladies, don't let the circumstances of where you are, regardless of how rough it was, regardless of how bad it was, define who you are. Because that's not who you are. I want all of my daughters to read those words. And thank you so much, ma'am, for saying them. Marcella is an inspiration to her fellow veterans. In spite of the challenges she faced and the racism and sexism that held her back in her military career, she broke barriers still, and she served with distinction. Now, this is coming from the DAV National Commander, Andy Marshall. DAV is the Disabled American Veterans. It's a great organization. He goes on to say, "We are grateful she continues to look out for her fellow veterans as a DAV life member. It's an honor to count her among our ranks." Now, Air Force Major Christy Busek, a student at Maxwell Air Force Base's Air University in Alabama, recalled Ng's modesty, even as she unintentionally helped to usher military aviation into a new chapter. The Major says she just saw herself as another person trying to make it through this difficult training and giving her all. She said in an interview that it didn't dawn on her until other factors, meaning other people, pointed out things that maybe she had some unique challenges and she was paving the way for other people, and she should get a little recognition. As I keep repeating in this video, Lieutenant Colonel Marcella Hayes Ng is a badass, but very humble. Ng has long since stopped flying helicopters, but that does not mean she's been sitting still. Whether she is running her family's event venue business, did you think she was going to retire? Or if she's chasing around her 11 grandchildren, or if she is riding with her Christian Motorcyclist Association, a Christian ministry on badass motorcycles. All right, let me address this first. I know many of us have been turned away by people with religious convictions. It's because rude-ass people use religion as a way to attack or judge people. Or they just try to shove it down our throats. To the best of my knowledge, and I know people who have personal connections with Marcella Ng, she has only used her faith as a way to motivate herself and keep herself humble. She has never used it to judge. In fact, people have spent substantial amount of time with her in a professional setting and had no realization that she was deeply religious. They just thought she was very professional because she doesn't curse. And yes, in my humble opinion, your religion should bring you good. If your religion is being applied to other people, it can cause some problems. That being said, Marcella Ng still flies, but it's on the ground. "I fly my motorcycle," she said. And I've learned, when I start truly listening to God, He taught me to make lemonade with life's lemons. And regardless of your issues with religion, that is a wonderful, beautiful message that we all can learn from. Right. My father served under Lieutenant Colonel Marcella Ng, and he remembers her being shockingly fair. Now, this was at a time when race divisions were very active and very hostile. Much worse than now. And females in Korea they were not treated with the appropriate level of respect. That can be said of everywhere in the Army at that time, but Korea was noticeably worse. But despite all of this, he never remembers Colonel Ng as being angry or bitter. Now, many women were bitter and lashed out because of the mistreatment that they suffered. And the same can be said of black soldiers at a different time period. But here we are, a black female who was screwed over. And she has the power to get revenge, but she's kind and fair. That's impressive. Now, my father is the one who brought her to my attention, and I am very grateful that he did. And while it does seem quite appropriate to discuss this badass black female helicopter pilot and battalion commander, I have to emphasize that, battalion commander, during Black History Month, she is not defined by her race, and she is not defined by her gender. It is just kismet that this is Black History Month when I record this, because I honor her and praise her all 12 months of the year. So, Lieutenant Colonel Marcella Marcy Ng, I salute you, ma'am. Thank you for your service, and thank you for your fine example.
You can't call me at work. This is highly unprofessional.